You're born somewhere in a small town, and for about 10 seconds, everything is normal. Congratulations, you have no idea what you are yet. Then the crib starts to shake, not from outside, not from the floor, but from directly underneath you, the wood rattling and creaking as the whole frame lifts an inch off the ground and drops back down. Your mother takes a step forward to pick you up, but then the water in the glass on the bedside table starts to spin on its own, pulling into a tight circle in the middle of the glass with the sides staying still. She stops moving. Your father puts his hand on her arm and pulls her back a step. Then a small flame appears on the edge of your blanket. It sits there without spreading, without burning through the fabric, just sitting on top of the cotton and staying the same size, as if it is waiting for something. Your father grabs the blanket to pull it off you, but the flame goes out before he touches it, leaving a small black ring on the fabric. He drops it anyway and steps back again. So now both of your parents are standing against the far wall, with their backs pressed flat against it, watching you. You are less than a day old. You are not crying. You are just lying there, with your arms up and your hands open, the way any newborn does. And the room is already split down the middle by a crack that ran from the floor to the ceiling the moment you drew your first breath. The glass on the bedside table is still spinning. No one goes to stop it. No one comes close enough. And that is how the first day of your life ends, with two people too afraid to pick up their own child. You're 6 years old now, and fire comes first. It starts small enough that your parents almost convince themselves it's nothing. A spark jumps off a metal door handle when your hand touches it, and they write it off. Then, a week later, you walk past the garden bush on the way inside, and it catches without warning, with the branches going up fast and your parents running out with a bucket of water while you stand on the path with your hands at your sides, watching it burn. You didn't touch it. You didn't even stop walking. So your parents build a routine around keeping things under control. They take anything flammable out of your bedroom, move the curtains, move the rug, and swap your wooden furniture for metal chairs and a metal framed bed. Every morning your father checks your hands before you leave the house, looking for the red glow that appears along your palm lines when something is about to happen. Most days there is nothing, but the routine stays. Then, one afternoon at school, a boy shoves you hard into a brick wall with both of his hands, and your palms press flat against the surface on the way down. The wall cracks down the middle from where your hands landed, with the split running from the floor all the way up to the ceiling in one clean line. The whole classroom goes still. The teacher walks you to the front office without saying a word, and your mother comes to collect you an hour later. You don't go back after that. So now it's just you and the house and your parents watching your hands every time you reach for something. Fire woke up first, then earth. But 3 more are still in there, and they won't stay quiet much longer. You're 13 now, and they all arrive in the same week. Wind goes first. You wake up one morning with your bedroom furniture pushed against the walls and every loose piece of paper on your desk pressed flat against the ceiling, with the whole stack held up there by a current that is coming off your body while you sleep. Your parents open the door, look at the ceiling, and close it again. Then, 2 days later, you are walking home along the road when a bolt of lightning comes straight down from a clear sky and hits the ground directly in front of your feet, leaving a black ring in the concrete that you have to step around to keep moving. You look up. The sky is completely clear. You keep walking. By the end of the week, water joins in. You step into the bathtub and the water rises up all 4 walls at once, with the whole surface pulling upward and flattening itself against the tiles, while the middle of the tub goes dry. That's 5. All 5 are awake now, and none of them are cooperating with each other. The problem is, they pull in opposite directions. Fire runs up your right arm, and water follows it immediately, canceling each other out so that both hands end up blistered and wet at the same time. When you reach for anything solid, lightning and earth both fire together, making your arms lock and your fingers go stiff. You can't separate them and you can't turn them off. So your parents move you out of the house. They set up a cot for you in the barn at the edge of the property, with the walls already scorched from the week before, and the floorboards split down the middle. You sleep there alone, but somewhere out there, someone has seen this before. And eventually, they find you. You're 19 now, and a woman shows up at the barn. She has a folder under her arm with photographs and handwritten notes inside it, and she lays it out on the floor in front of you with pages showing 3 other people, each one documented at different ages with pictures of split walls and burned floors and water stains running up the sides of rooms. She has spent her whole life studying cases like yours, and you are the 4th one she has found. She tells you she can help, so you go with her. She takes you to a property far outside of town where she has built a training space out of reinforced concrete and metal grating, with every surface designed to take damage and hold up. The work starts immediately. The goal is to learn to separate the 5 elements inside your body and push each one into a different place so they stop running into each other. She stands behind a thick panel of glass and watches with a pen in her hand while you try. And most of the early sessions end with the floor cracked open or the metal grating bent up at the corners from an earthburst you couldn't hold back. But over 2 years, it starts to work. You learn to push fire down your right arm and hold it at the palm, then pull it back before it goes past the wrist, then water in the left, then earth through both feet, making the ground press down instead of up. Wind wraps around your spine like a cord you can pull or let go, so you practice pulling and releasing it until your back stops arching forward on its own. 4 of the 5 sit where you put them. For the first time in your life, you can stand in a room without the walls moving, but lightning never fully cooperates. And it sits at the base of your throat, right where the others all meet. Skip forward, and you're 27 now, and for the first time in your life, the powers are actually useful. A flash flood is pushing down a valley toward a town at the base of the hills, so you go to the ridge above it and pull the water sideways with both arms out, redirecting the whole flow into a dry gully running parallel to the road. The water follows your hands and the town stays dry. That's the first time it works cleanly, with all 4 cooperative elements doing exactly what you need them to do, and it is a good day. So, you keep going. A burning building on a street has its fire spreading fast along the roofline toward the next structure, so you push the outer walls inward with an earth pulse through both feet, collapsing the building on itself before the fire can jump across. People on the street watch you do it with their backs pressed against the wall on the other side of the road. Some of them take out their phones. Then more people start stopping you on roads and outside buildings, with some wanting help and others just standing still and staring at you from a few steps away. Then, one afternoon, a gas line underground cracks open, and the ground above it starts lifting in a long ridge, running toward a row of houses. So you go down on both knees and push all 4 working elements down through your palms at once, trying to seal the crack from above and pull the gas pressure back. It works. The ridge flattens and the houses stay up. But when you lift your hands off the ground, both of them are shaking with your fingers spread wide and unable to close, and they don't stop for 3 days. Small cracks run across the backs of both forearms where the skin has split open from the pressure of pushing that much force through one body at the same time. The cracks close after a week, but they leave marks. And each time you push that hard, they come back a little deeper. You're 38 now, and the problem has stopped being something you can manage between uses. One morning, you are standing at the sink with your arms at your sides, and you have decided to do nothing. No elements, no pushing or pulling, just standing still. But water runs out through the cracks on the backs of your forearms anyway, with thin lines of it tracing down to your wrists and dripping off your fingers onto the floor without you directing it anywhere. Then fire follows it up both arms from the inside, burning the water off before it reaches your elbows and leaving a thin layer of ash across your skin. You did not start either of those. They started on their own. So you go back to the researcher, who is older now and moves more carefully, and she sets up her instruments on a metal table and starts working through a checklist she has kept since the first day she found you. She holds a thermometer to your left arm and then your right, and they read different numbers. Then she puts a metal rod flat against the ground near your left foot and watches it vibrate, then moves it to your right foot, and it stays still. Then she holds a sensor near your shoulder blades, trying to get a steady reading, but a current arcs off your back and hits the instrument in her hand, making her take 2 quick steps away from you. She puts it down on the table and takes her pen instead. She tells you that a human body was never built to hold even one of these forces, and that the longer all 5 share the same space, the harder they push against each other, trying to take more room. You already knew things were getting worse, but you didn't know how fast it would go from here. You're 51 now, and there are whole weeks where going near other people is no longer safe. Wind moves through the walls of any building you stay in for more than an hour, with the current running off your body while you sit still and pushing against the interior walls hard enough to bow them outward. Lightning arcs off your fingertips every time you reach for a metal door handle, leaving black scorch marks across the plate that get wider each time. So you stop going into towns. You need somewhere with no walls to damage and no one close enough to get hit. So you find an empty hillside far outside the nearest town and pull the stone up from the ground yourself, raising a structure with your hands flat on the earth and the rock lifting in slabs until 4 walls and a roof are standing. You live there alone. Some mornings, you wake up with a thin layer of soil covering your arms and legs from where the earth rose through the floor while you slept, with the ground having pulled up around you during the night. Other mornings, you are on a platform of rock sitting 6 feet above the floor, with the stone still hardening under your back. Then, one afternoon, a family drives down a flooded road below the hill, and you want to help. So you reach out with both hands, trying to pull the water back from the road. But earth comes out instead, pushing a wall of mud across the road directly in front of their car. They stop in time. You lower your hands and walk back up the hill. That's the thing about having 5 forces in one body. You've spent your whole life learning to hold them in, but the body that's been holding them is the part that's finally starting to give. You're 57 now, and one afternoon you sit down on the hillside outside the stone structure with both hands flat on the ground, the way you learned to do when you were 19 and needed to feel steady. The earth responds immediately, with the ground humming up through your palms and pulling toward you the way it always does. Then water follows it up through the soil around your wrists, running in thin lines across the backs of your hands. You try to separate them the way you have done 1,000 times before, pushing water left and earth right, but both arms are already locked, with your elbows pulled back and your shoulders up around your ears. Then the wind comes off your back in a full ring, pressing outward from your spine and flattening the grass in a circle around you. So you try to pull it back in, reaching for the cord along your spine the way the researcher taught you, but your back arches forward instead, pushing more out. Then fire comes up through both palms, burning the water off your hands and turning it to steam, and the steam forces the cracks along your forearms wide open all at once. You try to separate all 5 the way you always have, pushing each one toward a different part of your body, but there is nowhere left to push them. Every channel is already full, and every one of them is pushing at the same time at full strength. Then lightning drops straight down from a clear sky and goes directly into the top of your head, running through your spine, down both arms, and into the ground below your palms. The ring in the grass around you burns black. Your arms go flat against the ground. The hillside goes still. And somewhere deep below the surface, 5 forces that were never meant to share, one body, finally stop fighting over the space.